Alright guys, so today we pretty much hit a 1 to 2 8 risk reward trade. I'm gonna pull up the live recording real quick so you guys can see. Let's see. Let me mute it real quick. That's muted. Alright. So I took this trade and I took a partial. I won't lie, I took a partial above these highs and then eventually I let it run all the way up here. If we didn't take a partial though, we would have, been up on the account. Probably like, we're still down 170. So, and we would have made like an extra we would have made extra 4. So we would have been up like 300 maybe, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm not really thinking too much about it. And yeah, but here was the trade. Very slow, I won't lie. They were pushing, boom, broke above those highs, formed that breaker. I was doing the calculations. I was still down right here. I took a partial. It was only $200. It was like a negative R. We took 2 cons off though for the micros, and yeah, I wasn't really mad. It was kind of good for the psychic, I won't lie. And then we just kept running. Towards the right here, it got really choppy, and I just started to now right here we're retracing. We had a 5-minute fair leg up. I was like, all right, we can retrace. We can probably, tap into the 5-minute fair leg up and then eventually push up higher to our drawn liquidity. The drawn liquidity was a 4-hour relative equal high. So it's relative equal highs. I knew the market was reaching for that buy side up there. So it was pretty clear. It's pretty simple. And yeah, we're just scaling time frames, looking at the 5-second, looking at the 1 minute, looking at the 5-minute, we made a 1 minute SIBI. We want to see this get inverse, push above, break above here, form that little bullish order block, push up higher, and reach the drawn liquidity. I was aiming for the standard deviation after, so then I can fully be able to draw them. But then I realized, I looked at the higher time frame on each asset, and I was like, all right, YM is about to meet this drawn liquidity. ES and NQ are about to follow up. So after that, it's probably going to start to chop around and not really move as much. And then eventually, of course, we had such strong volume already from FOMC. Like I just don't see it, continuing up. And then we formed that 1 minute inversion. We, formed that mitigation block here, and I started trailing my stop loss. But then I was bad to, leave it up there. But I was like, nah, like the market started chopping, we started stalling, and then we started retracing. It just wasn't worth it. We went to the 30-second. We were looking at it. We were getting closer and closer. I felt like I was getting edged here. And yeah, it didn't feel healthy, Yeah, I was doing the calculations. It's the 1 minute again. We're holding this area. The 1 minute, order block, we're stalling. I just didn't like it. And then eventually we moved the take profit back down to that relative equal highs draw. And then you can see here the market eventually started to push up. We were about to trail, but I was like, no, you know what? Just leave it. We're close. We're likely going to meet that draw. And then eventually you can see here we went to the 1 second time frame. We were really close. We were edging it, and then just boom, one quick candle. We hit it. We're out. That was really it, and I locked the account. I called it a day there. Yeah, that was really it. Not much else to this trade. So yeah, we met that pretty quickly right there. That's where we got out, and then this would have been our final take profit. You can see we would have probably never hit it. We probably would have got stopped out here. And yeah, it wasn't worth the mental capital. I was trailing my stop loss. But let's go over this trade and let's clean the chart, and let's show you guys what I was looking for today. Because again, I took longs. I waited till 4:30, and even then, again, after the market moved up higher, I didn't enter just yet, because then we came back down, we swept, and then we formed this inversion, and that's where I entered. I took a partial here, 70 points, and then I let it run probably around here, if I'm being truly honest, around like 150 points. Let's see how many points 143, so it wasn't bad. But if we go to the higher time frame, you can see the 4-hour. This is what I was talking about, these relative equal highs. You can see the market eventually met that. I did just target this one a little bit closer. It's pretty clear, pretty simple. Let's go over the higher time frame. 4-hour time frame, we had a 4-hour sweep of sell side. We're inside of a range. We broke. We swept the sell side. 4-hour CRT forming here. 1-hour time frame, we swept this low, started pushing up higher. We were forming an advanced EBP here, as you can see, and to me it just looked really bullish. It looked really bullish, especially with the 4-hour being swept and just forming that market maker buy model here on the higher time frame. On the 30 minute, we swept this low, came back down, closed, formed that EBP, and this is where I entered my trade. The 15-minute time frame, 15-minute CRT, not really though, because we swept this low and then we had a high up here. We swept both sides, so then it just looked like an indecisive candle. But we did have this 15-minute inversion for early up that also confirmed higher prices. On the 5-minute, we had this 5-minute BISI, which didn't hold, inversed. I was looking to look for shorts, but then I realized, like we're not really getting anything from shorts. 3-minute time frame. See if it loads. We had this 3-minute SIBI, and then I waited for that to get inversed, and then we took the trade basically. I don't know if it's gonna load though. Yeah, it's pretty slow. Let's see if it loads. Hold on, I'll wait. And yeah, that was pretty much really the trade, bro. It's not much, not complicated at all. Just waited for us to come back down, sweep, and then eventually formed an inversion and push up higher. I don't know if it's gonna form though. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna load. But let me show you guys the account while it does this. Yeah, it's disconnected for some reason. Let's go to the actual top step real quick. All right, it just loaded again. I don't know what happened, but I guess it's my internet or something. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, brought this account all the way back up, bro. We were down a rack. Now we're only down 171. Again, that partial really did cook us, I won't lie, because instead of 862, basically divide this real quick. Let's divide it. 862 divided by 3 equals 287 times 5. That would have been over 1.4. And if you minus the 71.38, we would have been around, basically this is how much we would have needed. Or basically we would have been, I don't know, I did it wrong. Hold on. I did it wrong. But we would have probably been up around 300, 200 around there. I'm not really worried about that either. Again, all I'm really worried about is taking good trades, following the system, not being a one-hit wonder like this type of trade. You see these type of trades, but again, if you're following your system, you're going to have these type of trades. Why? Because you lose, we lost, 1%. We're up 2% now, if you're following your system and you're consistent, again, this is a trailed stop loss and profit. We're aiming for 1% to 2%. Market hasn't really been moving and giving us that speed, so we're just taking those, good base hits. And that's basically what happened here, guys. Just following the system, following the rules, being disciplined. And again, if you break your rules, you have to what? Run 5 hours, fast for 12 hours. You have to have punishments for breaking your rules, and that's why I didn't break my rules, and I was patient, and I waited, and I got rewarded for that, Just following the system, following the rules. Of course, my trade management could have been better. I was jumping all over the place. I was like, excited, being emotional because I wanted the market to move and, hit my take profit and do this and that because I knew it was going to go up there and I knew it was going to hit my take profit, but I just didn't know how. That's the thing. I didn't know how, basically. But how many days is that? We have 3 winning days. Yeah, we have 3 winning days this month. 1, 2, 3. We just need 2 more winning days that are 1 to 2%, basically, kind of what I'm aiming for, to then eventually get a payout. Probably request half of that. And yeah, not really much, honestly, if I'm being truly honest. The payout could probably be 300 to 400. I'm not really worried about that. The amount, I'm just worried about taking good trades and then requesting the payout. Main reason for that is because, again, I have to reward myself. I have to break those mental barriers and those limiting beliefs, this system works, it's profitable, this, I have to do this and that. And eventually I know once we start scaling, if we can do this on one account, we can get a payout on one account, we can definitely get a payout on multiple accounts. And then eventually we can start scaling, stacking our capital. But all it takes is being consistent, removing those mental barriers of I've never done this before, I've never gotten here before, and eliminating that and just being consistent, following your rules, being disciplined, following your system, collecting data upon it and working upon it. That's the most important thing. That's why I tell you guys, always doing your hindsight trades, always review your playbook, always try to collect data sets. Whenever you're reflecting upon your months, trading, like November, I already reflected last week and I analyzed to see what I learned and where I can grow upon. And that was basically really it. So we're up and I probably won't trade tomorrow. I'll see if we can find anything Friday. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's really it. Just taking good trades, having good risk, following the rules, 1 trade a day. 1%, and that's really it, guys. I'm not really worried about anything else other than that. So that's basically really it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.